Hey everybody, it is Tommy. I'm soon going to be joined by my buddy Zach. Eric is out again this week, but what we're going to be talking about is we're going to talk about creating a cadence for engagement. What is a cadence for engagement, or what is engagement? Let's talk about engagement first. Is engagement a email? Is uh, is engagement a text message? Is engagement? I mean, those are great non-in-person types of engagement. Um, let's see where Zach is here. There's in-person engagements too. Are you having an event? Do you deliver pies? Do you deliver pies around the holidays? Do you do flowers? Do you do something special for people on big anniversaries? Not necessarily their anniversary, their wedding anniversary, or their birthdays. That's an anniversary. But what about on the anniversary that they purchased a product from you? You know, real estate agents, a big anniversary is the day that they bought the house. What are other types of ways that you can have engagement? There's talks about, when you think about your database, or all the people call it your data bank, where you have the most items and you have all the you have things in your all your people. How do you talk to them? Do you talk to them daily, weekly, monthly? Right now, I bet you there's some people who aren't talking to them at all, so they're not talking at all. How do you talk to your audience? How do you address them? And how often do you address them? I think setting the expectation for addressing them is really one of the biggest things. Set an expectation. How often are you going to hear from me? Hey, thanks. We're glad that you're here. You're going to be getting weekly emails. You're going to be getting monthly emails. You're going to be getting bi-weekly emails. Coke Zero, very refreshing. How often are you going to hear from somebody? That is something that is very, very important. That's interesting. Now here's my buddy Zach. Zach, how are you?
What's up, Tommy? How you doing?
Excellent. I'm just kind of talking. I started talking about engagement, and we'll jump right into this. We're talking about setting an expectation for engagement, because sometimes when you're engaging, you need to set the expectation. How often am I going to talk to somebody? Because that's important. People want to know when they're signing up for something. I think it's important to tell people, hey, you're going to hear from me, once a week, once a month. A great PR guy that I follow a lot, Peter Shankman, who said, and he starts his emails, he starts his emails the not very often email. So, people don't want to be spammed, but people also want to know how often to talk to somebody. So, Zach, how often is too often to talk to somebody, do you think?
Well, in terms of two-way engagement, I think it's important to stay consistent. So I don't really know if there's a too much number. I do think that people don't want to receive 2, 3, 4, 5 emails a day, but I think for the most part, people are okay with an email or a text message, some kind of follow-up every day, every other day. it proves a point that you're consistent and staying on top of things. And the flip side of that is if they don't want your content, they don't want your material, they can unsubscribe. They can opt out.
Correct. They can, if they don't want to be part of the party, they don't. They accept the invitation. Not all parties are exactly what you want. You might say, "Hey, wait a minute! I thought this was going to be a baseball party, and they're watching soccer." Okay, well, I don't want to be a part of this party anymore. I'm just going to kindly go. There's a big trend on social media. Well, I'm leaving social media. No, just go. Don't tell me you're going. Just go.
Right.
I like the fact that if you're leaving an email list, it can tell you, hey, why am I leaving the list? Why are you leaving? Why? And that's good. That's good feedback for us. You want to know why you're unsubscribing. Did you talk to them too often? Did you not talk to them often enough? Did you talk to them about something they weren't expecting? Hey, I wanted bocce, and you gave me, you gave me Monopoly. I don't want to watch Monopoly. That's boring. I want to watch this. And so I think that's a good thing. You bring up a very, very valid point. If people don't want it, they can leave. But setting that expectation ahead of time is good. Hey, I'm going to add you to this list. We're going to have, a weekly coaching call, and we're going to have emails talking about it. Okay, that's a setting the expectation, I think, in a good manner. There's also we set the expectation, but then we need to listen to them. We need to listen to our audience, and we need to feed them. So many times you'll get on a list, and it's always their hand. Everyone's got their hand out. Hey, I want something from you. I want something from you. I want something from you. No, why don't you feed them first? Take good care of people. What's your favorite list that you're on? What would you say is one of the favorite lists email lists that you're on?
There's a few. I would say someone like Gary V is a good one because it's a good dose of some motivational stuff, some of his speaking stuff, his books. It's just kind of a little bit of everything. And I think for the most part that his audience likes to see that. And he shares, different stories, different wins. And I think that's a cool way to include your database and, kind of not give them what they want necessarily, but share to your audience that you're, all the different cool things that you're doing. Here's my book. Here's my podcast. Hey, I just spoke at this event, all the different cool things that he's doing, traveling the world and, living out his dream. So I think that one's probably pretty good.
That's a great one. And thanks for bringing up Gary, because Gary does a really great job at this. He does a really great job. And I think one of the things that I like about Gary is he's giving you nuggets. He's giving you content. He's not, there's takers in the world who just want to take. He doesn't take, he gives. And I love that about him. He's always been a content machine to give you something as a takeaway. I love that. I love that a lot. I think
a big thing, I think a big thing with him too, as you were saying, with like the giving side of things, is he's always giving and expecting nothing in return. It's just his value out for the day, or for the week or for the month.
Giving and asking for nothing in return. That right there is huge. But that's so true. It's all about how you go about your it's all how you live your life. There's some people who are takers, who do nothing but just take everything instead of givers. We want to be surrounded by, ultimately, you're not going to go down to the bank and say, okay, thanks for everything you've done for me. Just clap your hands. You got to make money. We know that. You have to make money. But, you need to enrich people before you decide that you're going to start taking away from them. And I think that's a really really a big deal. Is you want to enrich, you want to give back, give back, give back. And when you think about Gary, that has to be the top of the one of the things that you think. You think, I'm going to give back. I'm going to give back. I'm going to give back. And he does. He puts so much in, and he gives you so many tips. And I think that's one of the big things is, just because he teaches you everything doesn't mean you can execute. And that's where those doors are open. But he doesn't tell you you can't do it. He acts as if you're 100% in on it. But then when you can't do it, then you can call him up and say, hey, Gary, I need your help with this. Okay, to the rescue. I'll take your money. I'll help you through it. And that's the way it works. And I think that's really, really good. How often do you get emails from Gary?
At least one a day.
Okay.
Sometimes there's multiple a day.
Okay, so you're getting emails from Gary at least once a day. I'm on some marketing lists where I'll get 2 or 3 emails a day. But that expectation was set that I was going to get 2 or 3 emails a day. Right. And I really like that. I like the ability to I like to know the cadence, and I like to tell people, hey, when you join a list, this is what you're going to get. Now, Zach, we've talked a lot about kind of, and we're going to say virtual connection points, virtual cadence, but what about in person? What kind of in-person cadence have you ever seen before? And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about events. And events for the real estate types, events are great ways to get your fan club engaged. Maybe we talked about this. I talked about this before you got on. Maybe it's at holiday time. You give away a pie or a poinsettia. Or, one of my buddies in Green Bay, he loves to rent out a movie theater Saturday morning, and he shows a movie, and they get free popcorn and a soda. That's an amazing event. It's a great event.
That's awesome.
Because when you RSVP, you know what you do? You're going to capture email and you're going to capture a phone number. That's what you want. You want to be able to do that. Right. Because our ultimate goal, I mean, let's just lay this all out. What's the ultimate goal in this, Zach? It's to be top of mind. It really is. We want to be top of mind with everybody. And how do you become top of mind? You got to keep talking to them. You got to keep working through it. You got to keep nurturing people, and you keep nurturing people through. You keep nurturing them through good content. Good content. I mean, and if your friends, Zach, just kept coming to you and say, hey, can you buy me lunch? Can you buy me lunch? Can you buy me lunch? You're going to get tired of it. But as soon as some of them says, hey, Zach, I'm going to take you to Topgolf, and I'm going to teach you, I'm going to show you how to use this new club, or I'm going to teach you how this new stroke where it happens to be, you're now getting edified so that sometime when they do say, hey, will you buy me lunch? You're going to go, okay, hey, I'll buy you lunch. Hey, here's a 20. Let's go to lunch. You're going to pull it out and say, hey, that's perfect. But you have to, I think it is, I just lost it, but you have to put money in people's emotional bank account before you can withdraw it.
Agreed. I like what you said with the movie theater idea, because I think a lot of times people get lost in this guy's a realtor, he only sells houses. And then they're like, oh, I don't want to be on your email list. All you're going to do is send me, home evaluations, buy here, do this. And I think people get lost in that, when the best way to send out content is to kind of sprinkle some of that in. Obviously, you still want people to remember that you're a real estate agent, but all the other cool things you do, the Topgolf events, the movie theater,
correct events, those are you're going to have digital touch points, and those are good. Those are important. But you also need to have in-person, shake their hand touch points. The movie
Right.
theater, Greg Delaire Realty in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I love him to death. Broke bread with him last week. He's an awesome, awesome guy. We need to get him on the show here. He really kind of showed the way with this whole movie theater thing, and I went, and it was awesome. It was during the holiday time, so they had Santa there, and we went and we watched a movie, and we laughed, and we shook his hand, and I mean, the movie theater was packed, and it was amazing. And I don't know how much. I know people who go to Costco and buy Costco pies. Okay, those are probably $8-10 a pie, and movie theater. So you got to put money into something. You got to remember, if you're going to have a cadence of events, you got to have a marketing budget. So remember to have a budget here. But he decided that event, and I think he does it twice a year, because really, you want to do 4 virtual events a year. Some people do them once a month, and that's okay. But start out with 4, once a quarter, and then you can work up for it, because people want to be nurtured and edified. People want to know that they're special, because our ultimate goal, remember, ultimate goal, top of mind. Top of mind. And I wish I could ask the question here, because I know that this has happened, but I know that there's people who have had friends who know that they're a real estate agent, but that friend has used somebody else for a transaction because they forgot.
Yep.
And you need to keep. I know it's happened to Eric. I'm sure it's happened to me. And you know what? No blood, no foul. Okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. It makes you sad, but that just means you have to keep your cadence going. And so when we think about touch points, we think about, okay, there's email touch points. Then we have touch points where there's anniversaries in that person's life. There might be their actual wedding anniversary or a birthday. That's an anniversary of sorts. But what about the birth or the anniversary of their home? So right there, if it's a married couple, if it's not a married couple, you have at least 2 touch points where you can have a physical, send them a letter. Zach, when was the last time you actually got a hand-addressed letter in your mailbox?
Ooh, well, my birthday is on Wednesday, and I have a couple good family members that love sending cards. But they all handwrite them. It's obviously a card, so it's not really a handwritten note, but they do write inside the card. But other than that, I probably can't tell you the last time I received a handwritten card.
And I have a whole drawer. I was looking for one for a handwritten card. I try to keep all my handwritten cards. I love them. And I used to do, I need to get back into it. There's something magical about getting a handwritten card. I have thank you cards right here. They're not filled out, but there's something magical about this. That's a way of differentiating yourself. And I think that's a big deal. I think that's a real big deal. Handwritten cards can really make a difference in your relationships. A handwritten birthday card, because you get thousands of emails and you get all kinds of stuff. I mean, how many times do you say to yourself, "Oh my gosh, I didn't see it"? Well, you know what? Because you saw so much other crap, it just got lost in there. But there's something magic about a handwritten card. Just a little thank you, thinking about you, happy birthday, congratulations. And so maybe even a handwritten card to an event. Hey, we're doing this event. Here's a handwritten card. I know an agent. Okay, Zach, hold on to this. This is crazy. This is going to make your head spin. She sends out sometimes 1,000 cards a month.
Wow.
She is unbelievable. She'll write thank you cards. Chris Schultz is such an inspiration to me. She is remarkable. And how she will just send out cards. Send them. and
Mm-hmm.
she's a machine. But she's also a top producing agent because she knows exactly how to get people's attention.
Yeah, I think the
Um,
handwritten card is a great gesture. I mean, exactly what you said with the, happy 1 year of your house purchase. Hope everything's going well, or just basic stuff like that. Happy birthday, congratulations. Just saw you had a kid on Facebook. Here's the $25 gift card to Amazon to buy some. Thinking of
right,
you,
right, right.
just basic stuff like that goes a long way.
Something I've started to do is I am now in the morning, I'm looking at my Facebook birthday list, and instead of just typing up something, I'm making a short form video and sending it to them and messaging it to them.
That's awesome.
Just a quick little video, because that makes a difference. And I promise you, every video you do, you'll get a reply. Every single one of them. You will, bar none. You'll get a response. You'll get their attention. So if you're looking to get somebody's attention, drop them a video. And again, what's our goal? Top of mind. You want to be top of mind, and you want to be a giver. You don't want to take, you want to give. And so I think that that's a great, great way of doing it. So Cadence, you have digital touch points, and then you're going to have analog touch points. The analog touch point might be an event, might be the movie event. We're going to talk that one up. Green Bay Greg, he owes me no, he already paid for dinner last week, so I can't say a word. I can't say nothing bad about it. So we've got our digital touch points, maybe weekly or monthly, whatever that is. But then we've got our analog touch points, quarterly events, birthdays, anniversaries, holiday time, a great opportunity. Easter, great opportunities. Thanksgiving is an amazing opportunity to send a little video or send a touch point to somebody to thank them for being, part of your friendship pool. And like you said at the start, if they don't like it, they can opt out. But no one's going to opt out of a short form video from you. Nobody is going to say, Tommy, I don't want any part of that. I don't want a thing to do with that. I think that's the dumbest idea in the entire world. I'm going to dump it. Nobody, donut hole. Nobody is going to say that, because boy, this world needs more communication, more connections like that. They need more connections. And I mean, and that, we send videos back and forth, and I think that connection that we have is amazing. And I know that other people long for connections like that, for cadence in their communication.
Absolutely.
Because, and actually I lied. We don't want to be top of mind. We want to be top of closing. We want sales out of this. That's our ultimate goal, is the sale. But you have to be top of mind, or you'll never get the sale. So,
right.
But I think that we are, we've really talked about some great things. Let's go back to the event thing. What kind of events have you ever attended, or that you've been a part of? Maybe something that Eric has done. What kind of events have you been a part of that have really been impactful to you?
Obviously, like, I'm more of a sports guy, so I think the sporting events idea is
Oh
great.
yeah,
So
yeah.
So spring training is in Arizona, obviously, and so a lot of people like to do a spring training day. On a Friday, we got the whole suite. We got 40 tickets. DM me down below for details. Free tickets, and the first 40 people that respond get a ticket. And some of those,
Ah,
I think that brings a great engagement factor into it as well, because then you have people commenting and interacting, and they're trying to be the first 40 to get a ticket so they can get to the game for free. And so I think that's a great way of communicating with not only your database, but your friends on, social media, your database through email. I think that's a great event. I know a lot of people do like a Top Golf night. I've seen a couple people do like a wine tasting event.
Oh,
Which
wine tasting. I'll do Diet Coke. I'll do a Coke Zero tasting event.
there you go. You could do all the zero soda tasting events.
But you're absolutely right. Those types of events builds your community, because that's what you want to do. You want to build your community. You're staying top of mind, and that's where things happen. That's where things then they go, hey, I remember that event. Zach had me at that event. You're gonna pull up your phone, you're gonna call up Zach, you're gonna know his digits, and you're gonna go, bam, here we go. This is exactly how, because that's how it works. That's how the game is played. You want to build engagement, you want to build top of mind, and obviously you want to build your funnel. And at the bottom of the funnel is a closing. That's what you want. You want a closing. That's how the game works. And so I think that as we wrap this up, the one thing I want to do, very self-centered, is I'm going to bring my little QR code in here. I want a 5-star review. That's what I want. Nothing more, nothing less. If you learned something today, and I'm thankful for Zach for being a part of this. We will have Zach and Eric back next week. But building a regular schedule of correspondence is important. And it doesn't have to be a whole year. Start out with the big chunks. Remember, we've talked about rocks. Put your big rocks in. Let's get those out first. Let's get our quarterly things done. Then we say to ourselves, okay, then we're going to do birthdays. Okay, that's a big one. Then maybe we're going to do a holiday something. Maybe it's wrapped into an event. Maybe it's just a holiday greeting, whatever it happens to be. Then we can have monthly events or monthly touch points. Throw in a couple cards here and there. Then throw in some weekly emails. If you have weekly emails, there's 52 touch points. That's pretty amazing. So if we kept a little score here, if we have weekly emails, 52 emails, then you have an event, you might have 2 or 3 touch points per event. So we got 52 plus 12. Let's say we have 4 events with 3 touch points per event. Okay. Because whether they come or not, they're still getting a touch point. So we got 52 plus 12. Now we're at 64. Then we get like a couple holiday ones, 65, 66. We get their birthday, 67. It's easy to get close to 70 touch points without much thinking about it. And that's how people will think about you. And that's really what it's all about. It really is. That we want people to think about you, be top of mind, because that's how this is going to turn into sales.
Totally agree. That was awesome.
Well, thank you, Zach, for participating. Thank you for people out in, looks like we had about, we got 15 viewers right now, or actually got 18 viewers, 3 on my Facebook feed, 15 on my Twitter feed or X feed. So thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. 2 o'clock Central Time every Monday. Actually, I won't be here next week. I'm going to be in Dallas. So I'm going to be at a training in Dallas. So Eric's going to have to pinch hit for me next week. But I know we'll have another great topic. I'm thankful for you, Zach. Thank you so much. It looks like beautiful weather. What's the temperature there?
Oh, it's probably mid 80s. I'm in Florida still, so.
Got it. 64 here. So we're in the 60s. Okay, Zach. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Leave me a review if you could. I would love that. We will see you back here next week. Appreciate your time and consideration. Have a happy day.